like to play too much on the edge, and they do tend to go central very early on when they know they're going to play on the edge, and that's going to facilitate the rotational megastars in the circle through Farm and Milta and find a decent position every circle.
What I've noticed with how the teams locate themselves, whether it's the north of the river or the south of the river, the teams are quite central. So that means, however the circle shifts, if it does choose to shift up north, for example, teams like Synergy, BTR, Box Gaming, it's going to be a lot easier for them to rotate around the edge of Yasnai, for example. Now, they might not necessarily know that, right, because they're closer to the edge, but just something to think about as Phase 2 is going to...
I'm sure that statistically speaking...
Statistic?
Okay, I've heard that word like...
It's okay, hey, not as bad as me with an ultimate, okay.
The numbers have spoken, right? The fact that, like, on average, we do not have many very northern finishes, right? And I think a lot of the teams are taking that into their mentality, into their mindset going into this game, and they may be focusing very heavily on the southern side. We'll have to see how this is going to be shifting on Phase 2, right? Because if it does go up north, I'm pretty sure that's going to be very unexpected from a lot of the squads going into this first game of the final day. Where shall I go? It goes actually a little bit higher up north, actually. This might go
quite
against
high
the odds.
north. Quite high north. I do think the next phase will shift down south away from the coastal line of Severny. I'm going to call, and I don't often predict it right because I'm not that kind of person, but I'm not, plus I'm not as good as Ocean, right? But I'm actually going to call a shooting range finish, or the south of shooting range. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I think it could be interesting if it does end up over there. Yudu Gank, they responded really quickly to the circle, already shifted down south, took the control of the compound that's next to the roadside, like that little trifecta of roads up north, and they're going to be holding that section for now. It's one of the most central positions. Also, there's going to be Reject Scarlet and even TSM Entity holding decent positions, but a few teams going to try and now cross on over the roadside as you level up, holding that position where they got the last chicken dinner yesterday in Imperium. RQ getting close by, rotating away from Ruins, taking a few shots, but Yogzan actually got knocked away for himself.
Yeah, T-Streakers across the road are able to get kill onto the member you level up. So straight off the bat, you level up down to 3 players under a little bit of pressure. They're not inside the circle. They've RQ to the south of them, Team Seeker to the north of them. They do have easy access to make somewhat of a wild rotation up north, but if they do choose to do that, or should I say to the west, but if they choose to do that, Galaxy Race themselves are on the bridge of George Paul.
Yeah, they're on the bridge of George Paul. You don't see that happen very, very often. It's very unorthodox, but you like to see it when it comes out because it does really do an easy entry point because it's very, very rarely going to be contested, especially when you know that Level Up, a team that likes to normally play up in Northern George Bowl, they're not there currently, and they're popped in a kill feed. They're like, okay, this team, they're definitely not going to be in Northern George Bowl. Easy rotation on the western side, up north, easy entry point.
Valdez hanging on to Roshawk for now, which I think is absolutely great because it's on the north of Roshawk. It's on the higher ground. It's basically on the outskirts. You're able to see the north of the river. You're able to get a lot of scope of information. If it continues to go up north, on Phase 3, it'll be very easy for them to rotate.
I'm seeing the circle right now. Every single team that were down south are rotating or on the west or on the eastern side. Maybe having a little bit of point of pressure over there. Maybe having a little bit of a pack of teams that will be taking fights in the open. Because no one's just like, they are kind of predicting the circle now is going to be heavily shifting up north. They're trying to predict how this might go and trying to make things easy for them. But when everyone thinks the same rotation, that means that there are going to be some teams very close by and some potential sparks will be coming out.
Sparks are indeed going to fly, Max. They're going to fly big time. And remember, we did see a similar kind of river circle ending in one of the Erangel games previously where Team Seeker full sent it into the river. And I think King and Gamers won that, and RQ were able to come in and get squad wipe onto Reject. So that it's something that even though we don't see northerly circles, the teams are a little bit more familiar.
For sure, I'm checking out. We're going to have then Megastars chasing down Austin of Synergy. We've got Paradox a little bit higher up, and Austin just like, okay, there's a lot of cars behind me. I'm just going to go more into the circle itself. I'm not going to try and contest that position whatsoever. And I respect that. You know, that's fine. Going to get back to the rest of their team. But still, you've got to say, Megastars are making their way closer to T1, and T1 got the high ground too. So if they really want to take a few nice suppressing fires to stop Megastars from rotating, they could definitely do so.
And that's why I think Megastars are stopping, because they want to be aware of Synergy's position and T1's position. As you level up, try to get the shots off towards Team Secret. Instantly, 2 members of Team Secret knocked down.
They lost the play and they want to get some frags now because they are a team that need it
Revenge,
heavily
baby.
in Imperium, right? They're currently in 3rd position. They're only 6 points behind RQ Athena in top position. They might just take the entire tournament today, so they need some good results. Team Secret having Rux and Mad Toy knocked away. They're going to be leaving the scene entirely. This is just not worth it. They are just leaving 2 players to die, which, you know what? This is the finals. I respect that because they just can't afford to go out early.
Talking about respecting, the phase did shrink up more heavily up towards the north of the river, so it's pretty much confirmed to be there. Valdez have done what I thought they would do, which basically swiftly move up to the north of the river, past Roshawk. Reject Scarlet are ahead of them. Orange Rock are right behind TSM, so that could be a little bit of a fight that goes on between those 2 teams later on.
Most teams are currently crossed over the river, except for RQ Athena. Still a little late bloomer for that one, but Box Gaming already made that rotation. Valdez, as you mentioned earlier, already made it through. Still need Synergy to make the entire squad rotate away from Yasnai Polyana. But Bigatron, they already make their way through, and they're going to be actually contesting potential positions away from RQ Athena.
They were behind RRQ, and they were able to
they're quick
rotate
boys.
basically, you know, I'm saying basically too much, around the north of Ruins, and they've gone across the river. Incredible rotation from BTR.
Yeah, they're fast boys. I mean, they took that position really quickly, and they're a team that we know are good on this rotation. They react extremely quickly. Even, I would say they're the team to react the fastest to any kind of circle shifts, and that is why they got now a decent position, going to be gatekeeping all of the southern western side against Team Secret and even RQ Athena. Talking about Team Secret, get a Patse headshot bolted for ice shots of Team Secret. Despite being a 2-man army, they're not scared to take the fight right over to Bigatron.
That's a headshot even Bernard would be proud of, I tell you that much, Max. I will, of course, stop BTR in their tracks for now. It's going to let them basically too much disengage away, and I think they'll think about what's going on around them a bit more.
I thought RQ might actually get himself into Bigatron as they cross on over, but they went for the very wide rotation on the bridge, just avoiding Team Secret and Bigatron as a whole.
Yeah,
Now that's going to push them a little bit closer to Team IND on the west, if I could break on through. But TSM Entity, they've been very silent this game, right? But because they secured a really good position super early on. They're dead center in the circle. They got a great position to hold on to. And now it really depends on where the circle's going to go, but I like how now reactive they are on this final day.
It's the same with Orange Rock as well. Of course, it is a tough area to hold on to, because even though right now it's in the center, there's a lot of high ground either side of them, as RQ are going to get put under pressure by the side of Team IND. 420 OP sending himself forward. He's been an integral part of Team IND's push, and Slayer gets another knock onto D2E. RQ under pressure, but G9, he can never not rely on him.
Slayer, the headshot king for the first game. Looking strong. The circle's about to shift on to RQ Athena. A little bit on the downhill. B11 going to get res back up, as Slayer's going to try and pull a flank on the side.
Oh, he's got to see him.
420 angle gets it. Nicely connected onto Ernie, and now they're going to try and clear the floor. They lost chance earlier, remaining still at the 3-man army. They need every single kill they might get, because this is a team that might climb up in the top 5 to try and contest for that #1 position. But 420 OP is going to get clapped right back by B11. This man is insane.
Now it's just Slayer left standing against BR11. Slayer is behind a vehicle, going to look to cook up a grenade behind a tree. That's not going to connect quite for now, but G9 is going to send himself up with that forward-thinking play. Beer looking to get connected upon. That's Team IND out. That's RQ. Stay in this fight, not just in this game, but for the top spot.
Yeah, they want to hold on to the throne, Imperium. They're looking so good right off the bat. Team ID, though, this is a game they definitely did not want to kick off the day with, because that might actually secure their position in 6th and even potentially losing a few extra slots, because you said it right, 1 chicken dinner might put them back in that contestment point for that 1 position. But now T1, they're going to join the party a little bit on the northern side of this fight. They got information on Team Secret and RQ Athena, but they're going to play the more passive approach on this one.
Phase 4 circle went back down towards the southwest. It favoured BTR and even RQ. After winning that fight, RQ will be able to breathe a little bit more of a sigh of relief. TSM and Orange Rock reacted so instantly to that circle shift. It was great to see, but all the teams on the north, the northeast and the northwest are going to find themselves under a lot of pressure.
Yuri Gang still on the circle, potentially going to get gate kept by King of Gamers as they're looking for a decent position, getting very close to Galaxy Racer Celts. I'm talking about them, here they are. Having information on the high ground, they see the compound of King of Gamers, but they swiftly took that under control. They're going to be very cautious about how they peek.
Yep.
Now Galaxy Racers really can't do too much about this. They'll keep hold, a nice foothold on the northern side.
Box with that circle shift did end up outside the circle, but they've been able to send 3 members in. They now have 1 outside the circle, that's PMA, but that's okay. But the good thing with that position held onto by Box is it's that coastal line that they're going to be able to hug around and not worry about a team being behind.
Tanky had information for you to gang for a split second. Unfortunately, not going to be able to convert that in Nox just yet. Maybe you want to try and pop the wheels to make sure they can't fight back, but that's going to be MJ hitting a nice Car 98 shot towards Yudu Gank. But yeah, MJ popping off.
What's with the bolt action?
I don't know. Today's just like, you know what? Today's a kind of sniper kind of day. We're going to just spray it down and hit them headshots left, right, and center. And it's been paying off pretty good so far for most squads involved.
Megastars are going to be gate kept by T1 on the northwestern edge of the circle. Let's see if we can see Megastars be ultimately aggressive. As you level up, find a member of Galaxy Race yourselves.
Synergy trying to find their way in a decent position. It will be hard for them eventually. They're getting also very close to TSM Entity. Zigor's going to be holding the mountain top. The smoke will buy him a little bit of time. Clutch got on a little bit of an off angle, looking to potentially punish that push from Synergy. But also T1, their team, they're currently in a very scary spot in Pyramid. You have to mention it. They're currently in a valley side, in more of a dip, and they're going to be struggling holding on to that position. Paradox is going to chuck some nades of his own, but this is very, very weird position for T1. They're going to struggle because they could get attacked from every front.
True, but then again, it was a very wild push by Megastars, and it didn't help them. They got eliminated, but that was purely because of Megastars' failed push, really. T1 under a bit of pressure, but they were able to respond a lot clearer, creating that space.
It's actually great for T1 because they eliminate what team was on the western side. Now they've just got to focus on the east. The circle's going to pop up, and it's actually great for Orange Walking Pyramid. They had a decent foothold in that position, and now they just got to remain there and potentially stop teams from getting too close to their location. This might be an Indian chicken dinner on the first game of the day.
What a way to kick off the final day of the PMWL East if they were to capture that chicken dinner. But BTR trying to fight up against Valdez the Murder. Microboy shooting through, but he's going to get knocked by Velmoth.
Velmoth, this man has been improving and doing so much for the Valdez the Murder composition. And now he's going to try and make...
You got to get those revives off, BTR. You got to get those revives off. Microboy's going to go down. Looks, Zuxi is still knocked down. Ryzen is hugging the coastal line. And yeah, it's not looking good for BTR for now.
Yeah, for sure, they are going to be struggling a little bit on that side of the river. Ted is going to be scattered out in the open. It's not the water, Ted. That's not how you do it. And he's going to be taken out swiftly. Synergy out in 14th position. The attempt was respectable, but unfortunately, there's so many teams around, and he's on a slope too. You're going to be eventually scouted from one decent position, and that was indeed the case.
RQ are going to go out. They're eliminated in 13th place. They did get 4 kills, so that's 5 points in total, just to keep an eye on it for now. But as this game continues on, Box Gaming are still in there as a full squad on the south side of the map, yet to make their way.
They're going to try and debark down in the circle, but Orange Rock still with that compound is huge. But Break with a mini 14 going to clap straight back in the face of Marvi, hitting the headshot, and he's going to get knocked down, buying just a little bit more time. Precious time, I would even say, for Box Gaming to push himself in circle.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Precious time indeed, as Box need to just find that golden spot on the edge of the circle, because it could shift in their direction on the next phase. You level up have gone down in 10th place. This is incredible. TSM Entity, Orange Rock especially, they're going to benefit from this kind of game.
Box Gaming, especially in Pyramid, they're currently fighting with top 5 teams, and now because all the other contenders are taken out, they might just be able to take in the Golden Throne away from RQ Athena on this first game of the day. But we've got to talk about this circle in Pyramid, shifted up north on the western side. Great for TSM Entity, but I think they've got to try and take a little bit more central control, because otherwise King of Gamers just might snatch it away.
You just spoke too soon. King of Gamers trying to snatch it away. They're actually going quite northerly, in fairness, sending 2 members up. top, having 2 other members on the eastern side. Orange Rock won't have too far to move to make it into the southeastern edge of that circle across the small dirt road they'll have to go, as Valdez on the south side still have to find a way in.
Oh, Velmoth and also Andre popping up to the
There you
kill.
go.
Iru is going to get the upper hand onto Box for a split second, and he will get 1 kill confirmed onto Break. One man do you want to keep in your composition to get some good results, but you will be taken out earlier in this game. You level up, we saw them get taken out earlier. Like all the big teams we were expecting to do good, they're already out. The Box Gaming still have to run on by, but Orange Rock, they're not allowing that to happen.
T1 still taking a fight onto a couple of teams. We saw it onto TSM. TSM clapped back now. T1 Youngjun onto Valdez as well outside the circle. But Orange Rock, they're trying to gatekeep the members of Box Gaming. The Blue Zone's starting to move in. It's phase 6 as well. It does a hell of a lot of damage.
That grenade, just an extra half second, and that could have been the end of Box Gaming, but Mavi gets it once again.
There you go.
That second nade, and now they just got to move on by. They had a crate to buy some coverage, but now the circle is just pushing on forward in the open, loving arms of Orange Rock as they try and just potentially suffocate this team out in the blue. Scout jumps down, that grenade is huge! Connects up to Scout, Break! What an absolute legend, but he's just going to force his way as Viru and Gil maybe just want to leave the scene entirely. This is not a fight you want to take.
Don't get in the vehicle. Now you've got to commit. You've got to commit for the res, commit for the fight. As Valdez go down, 6 teams remaining. Box suddenly have this game in their control, although the Blue Zone is closing in. Luce is knocked down. It's going to be up to Break to try and push his way in.
They got Scout back on his feet, but the Blue Zone is right behind Scout. Oh, he's going to pull off the first aid, back to 75% health. Yuga just going to be towing his back over with Break to Orange Rock, but now they were the one gatekeeping, but now Box Gaming, they're gatekeeping Orange Rock. Scout's going to be jumping down, taking a little bit of tick damage to the Blue Zone. We still got Mavi right behind.
Mavi, go for it!
They're going to get cornered down. Hyuga's going to be left alone for the side of Box Gaming, and that will be the end for them. Orange Rock coming out on top, but it's still going to run in the circle, Imperium.
I was just going to say, the Orange Rock sandwich would have helped the side of Orange Rock. Got the better of Box Gaming. 5 teams left. King of Gamers, Celts, Reject Scarlet, Orange Rock, and TSM Entity. TSM Entity, they're on 9 kills. They 3 players up. Is this going to be the day that the TSM Entity army rises up from the ashes?
Even Orange Rock could make it happen, Imperium. Hinges
So
looking
true.
really good in the first game of the day. It's been really a first game of upsets for the top teams, and now we can see the other teams rise from the ashes and come back in contestment for the #1 spot for the final day. But now King of Gamers, they got the northern position, and they got the circle actually going in their favor. That could actually be a King of Gamers chicken dinner to kick off the day.
But it is kind of uphill. It's not a huge slope, so it is still going to favor King of Gamers. But if the circle stays in their direction and teams get close to them like TSM, it could become increasingly harder. The good thing for King of Gamers is that they only have 1 player of each team on one side and then the other teams on the other side. So it's really not too bad for King of Gamers.
What TSM need to try and do right now is eliminate Orange Rock, even Webb of Reject Scarlet, even potentially MJ of Galaxy Racer Cells, just to facilitate their way in the circle, because if they keep on going, this is a little bit of a slope, Imperium, right? And that means that it's going to be really hard for you to find a position in the circle as they're going to get on by. They have 1 member that's going to be Zegod on the very edge of the west of the circle. He can just be a nice foothold and allow his team to anchor their way into the circle. But now, as I said, you need to eliminate Orange Rock and Reject Scarlet, otherwise you're not going to secure that spot.
I love this from TSM NT. They're being patient. They find it. Jonathan takes down Gil. Orange Rock are eliminated in 5th. It was still a valiant game by the Orange Rock boys. Very well played indeed. They were able to eliminate one of their rivals coming into this final day of the PMWL. Down goes Reject. 3 teams are left.
And you got MJ. You know what MJ does best, Imperium. And that's clutch it in the final moments. He's going to be taking a few nice shots, connects on to boss up King of Gamers, but now he maybe have alerted the composition of TSM Entity. They're going to be very alert of the eastern side as he tries to snake his way through. And Jonathan going to cook up that grenade. He knows exactly what tree needs to aim for.
Come on.
Will that grenade be cooked up perfectly? Looks pretty close by. Concept's going to get the information. That's still a really good position for Galaxy Racer Celts on this first game. 3rd position overall, but now King of Gamers, there's only 1 player. That is Concept, spreading down on TSM Entity. They haven't spotted him out just yet, Imperium.
Oh my god, but Concept gets a knockdown. But now it's going going to come down. TSM Entity get the chicken dinner, the first one in the finals, and what a way to kick off the last day for them.
TSM, you know what? They can make a comeback right here, but as Froz mentioned earlier on the desk, right, they need some insanely good games, and these are the kind of games that could potentially allow TSM Entity to climb back up in a #1 spot.
The fact that 2 of the 5 teams went out early that are fighting for that top 5 spot sent a huge message that it's not over till it's over. We'll have to see what the analyst desk have to say after this quick break.